My next guest on Talking Business is Chris Dutton, who's the Managing Director and founder of the CEO magazine. Welcome to the program, Chris.
Thank you, Alan.
Now, tell us about how you and why you started up the CEO magazine, because I think you began it just as soon as you emigrated from the UK in 2005.
Yeah, I've been over here about 7.5 years. Obviously, coming from a publishing background in the UK.
What sort of publishing background was that?
I've worked for local newspapers like Yellow Pages, that sort of thing. Plus, obviously, there was a business magazine over there I worked on. But yeah, I came over here and I wanted to produce. I saw a lot of business magazines here, certainly industry-specific ones that I thought we could do better in terms of quality and content. So we initially started producing them probably about 5.5 years ago. And then we launched the CEO magazine probably about 3 years after we started. So yeah, it's gone really well.
What was the secret to the success of the CEO magazine? What did you try to achieve with that wasn't being done already?
Well, we wanted, with the CEO magazine, we'd obviously had quite a bit of experience publishing the industry-specific mags, but we wanted to produce a very sort of high-end business publication which was aimed at senior management in Australian companies. We speak to a lot of CEOs and directors and stuff all the time, and a lot of them had some really amazing advice, and we wanted other executives who were aspiring to be a senior management pretty much to learn from them, really. So yeah, the CEO magazine was born, I suppose, really. And
it's mainly just to perhaps to tell people who haven't picked it up in the Qantas Lounge as to what you can expect to find in the magazine.
Okay, well, the magazine's pretty much, it's split into two halves. We have a lot of corporate profiles and executive interviews with directors and CEOs from Australian companies. And then we have pretty much an away from the boardroom section and out of the office. And in there's a lot of lifestyle things, holidays, food and beverage, health, pretty much anything that these kind of guys want to read about. We have regulars. I mean, there's obviously finance section in there. We have our own share tips, technology section. There's some really good advice about management and leadership. It's pretty much everything we think that senior management want in a business magazine.
And the new thing you did in 2012 was the Executive Awards towards the end of the year. Tell us a bit about how that went.
It was amazing. It was our first year for the Executive of the Year Awards, and yeah, it was a huge achievement for us. I mean, we had over 500 entries from the basically executives wanting to win the awards. The awards themselves are all about the actual executives, the directors and the CEOs, as opposed to a standard business award. So we had over 500 entries. It was a sellout event. We had Eddie Maguire agreed to host it, which was obviously a big plus for us in its first year. We had a judging panel which included Jerry Harvey, Anne Sherry, Michael Fraser from AGL, Colleen Callender she's the CEO of Suzanne. We had major sponsors on board. I mean, we had Qantas obviously sponsored it. We had Bentley, Four Seasons Hotel, Shivers Regal. We had a lot of backing from big companies. And we got a lot of press coverage for it as well. Sydney Morning Herald, Sunday Telegraph, The Australian, numerous websites. The awards went a lot better than what we certainly expected for the first year.
Well, it's fantastic to do that in your first year. That's for sure. Who won?
Who won? Well, there was 14 awards in total, but kind of the big awards were Executive of the Year, which was basically senior management, not a CEO. That was won by Stephen Ellich, who's Executive Director at ServiceStream, Fixed Communications. Young Executive of the Year was John Winning from Winning Group. And obviously we had CEO of the Year, and that was won by a guy called Gilman Wong, who's the CEO of Certex Medical.
And in order to win these, people, the individuals themselves had to apply or to put their names forward. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we basically had a mix. We had a lot of directors and CEOs basically applied themselves, but probably half the applications were from other people in their company that thought they were doing a good job, because a lot of these guys were kind of they didn't want to stand up and say, "Hey, I'm doing really, really well." So there was a lot of people that applied for them.
Right. Oh, well, that's the best thing is if somebody else applies, I guess it's not so good if you have to apply yourself. So, is CEO Magazine is basically in print, isn't it? Do you have a website? Do you operate online, or is it only in print?
We have a website which is theceomagazine.com.au. It's in terms of digital at the moment we're print only. We're looking at doing certain things next year, but it's a question I get asked a lot actually about what the switch to digital, if that makes sense. What does it mean for us? But it's probably good for us actually because we found a couple of business magazines have gone to digital only, which is obviously good for us because there's less competition. But because with the CEO magazine we always print like really high quality, we find people keep them as well. So there's plans for certain digital things, but we're a big believer in actual physical magazines, if that makes sense.
Oh, it certainly does make sense, and it's good to see somebody, I guess, holding the line there. With a lot of startup businesses such as yours, everyone, you need to have a breakthrough moment at some point. Did you have a breakthrough moment? I'm wondering in particular whether getting into the airport lounges or perhaps into some the Hilton hotels was your breakthrough moment, or was it something else?
That really, really helped for the readership actually, because when we got into the airline lounges, we were kind of like printing, good numbers of magazines, but we found the actual readership jumped because obviously the traffic they get through the airline lounges was very, very high. So that probably was a really, really important thing for us as well, definitely. Yeah,
because your readership, as I understand it, is over 130,000. And I guess that's helped by the fact that they're in the lounges, plus as well as the hotels.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we kind of say that if only 1 in 5 people picked up the magazine in the lounges, it's over 130,000. We reckon we're probably more like 250 at the moment. Plus we're actually getting into retail outlets early March 2013. Probably by the time people are listening to this, you'll actually better buy it in news agencies, which is going to help as well.
Oh, so you're not in news agencies at the moment?
Not at the moment. It's subscription-based, plus obviously the business lounges, Hilton hotels, in all the executive suites. We send it to most ASX 200 companies anyway. It's in Starwood hotels, but at the moment you can't. As I'm talking now, you can't actually buy it in news agencies. But when when people are listening to this, you'll certainly better find it.
And what will the cover price be?
It'll be $14.95 if you want to buy it in a news agency, but there'll be a discount obviously for subscriptions.
And do you think you'll stick with print? That's your plan for the future, and or will you start to offer content online with the subscription online?
We will always print the magazine in terms of an actual hard copy, and also in terms of the quality. We never ever skimp on print costs. If my production guys come to me and say, I think we should do this, but it's going to cost this, we'll always pay the extra. So we will always have a hard copy business magazine. In terms of digital strategy online, we're thinking about having an app where subscribers can actually get content delivered to their phones as well. But that will be very much a secondary thing, and we will never ever replace a hard copy mag.
Yes, well, that's an interesting position to have in this age of the digital revolution, Chris.
Yeah, we're firm believers in it, and my belief is that if you print a very good quality magazine with good content, people will pick it up and read it.
I'm sure that's true. Well, congratulations on what you've achieved, Chris, and thanks very much for joining us.
Yep, thanks very much.
I've been talking to Chris Dutton, who's the Managing Director and founder of the CEO Magazine.